Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are looking at Season 2, Episode 7 of Glitch Text, the real Glitch Text. This is the episode that the mysterious not an advertisement teaser image came from. Now, Dan Milano said that this image wasn't meant to be used in pre-show advertising, which suggests that it was a scene that occurred naturally in the course of the show. That really set me head-scratching because the scene was so obviously staged. Anyhow, let's review a few of my predictions. First, I predicted that the robot-looking dude in the background was the new model that was going to threaten to replace Bit, namely that he was Bit Prime. And boy, was I wrong. This, it turns out, is a delightfully rule-abiding geek who is going to be a stout ally in future episodes, both of the season and of the show as a whole, because we are getting a third season. I'm being confident in that. The twins that I pegged as the Thunderstorm twins from Japanese mythology might have taken their look from that mythos, but their personalities are more of a standard techno twins. Or rather, they don't quite fit any trope I know of perfectly. They have the whole twin bond thing going on. The brother is a tech rogue, which appears to be Zara's skill set as well. A tech rogue being someone who dumped all their stats into support and knows how to work outside the box of Hinobi regulations. The sister appears to be something like Me-K.O in temperament, but with slightly less flair. They are actually a delightfully new pair, and I want to learn a lot more about them, but they are far from the rogue agents of chaos that the set of lightning siblings would be. The shoulder cape look does appear to be a standard uniform for them the next town over. And it seems that, to be fair to myself, I did speculate that Zara's giant gun could be covering her new short jacket, because Mitch was the only one that had the new short jacket visible. But Mitch and Zara have both upgraded to the short jackets, with Zara's support class indicated by her shoulder mounts, and Mitch's design probably indicating his more melee and leadership attack style. I would guess that the outfit change represents some sort of rank advancement in this universe, while in creative language it represents the changing dynamics of the team. And the team dynamics are indeed changing. It's nothing big, nothing obvious. The show is too well written to spring massive or sudden changes on the audience. No, Five and Me-K.O have been earning their place on the team slowly but surely. Mitch's character has been revealed bit by bit. Mitch has always been there in the background, watching out for the little noobs as much as he mocked them. I mean, yes, he mocked them, but he also saved their hides when they needed it. Again and again, he would show up to, quote-unquote, steal their glitch right before the glitch dropped some serious pain on Five and or Me-K.O. And Mitch wasn't one to simply accept the benefits of team leader. He also accepted the duties, even when he didn't like them, such as training noobs. He went from only grudgingly working with Five and Me-K.O to actually letting them in his van at the beginning of Season 2, a van that had been clearly marked as no noob zone in Season 1. Then 2 episodes ago, we saw Mitch admit that he couldn't do it alone and needed the team. Last episode, we saw Mitch apologize to Me-K.O in front of everyone with good grace. This character development comes to a rather odd head in this episode. The episode starts with Mitch, Me-K.O, and Five out on a patrol together. From the scene 1, their dynamic is subtly different than it's been before in the show. Me-K.O and Five are the same as ever, but Mitch is different. His body language is more relaxed. He still sneers and rolls his eyes, but he does so far less frequently. And when he does it, it's at some absurdity of the situation, not at Five and Me-K.O personally. Mitch opens up more about his interests. He's not exactly being friendly with them, but he has clearly let his guard down, letting some of his real interests and feelings slip out for Me-K.O and Five to see. Then comes the MacGuffin of this episode, a very, very literal MacGuffin. If any creators are listening, I know your secret. The writer was giggling to themselves as they wrote this plot point. The animators were snickering as they animated it. The corn is thick in those corn fritters, and I like it. Yes, I do. But the interesting part of this episode for me, you know I like anything that developed Mitch's character. So the interesting part of this episode is the running interaction between Mitch and Five. Five is mystified at Mitch's behavior, but I think that from the perspective of the audience, it's pretty obvious what is going on. We have 2 factors of Mitch's character here. The first has been there from the beginning. Mitch wants his team to be the best that they can be so that he can get the best scores that he can get. To this end, he teaches and advises as best he can. With Me-K.O, that means teaching her to hold back, getting her under control. Me-K.O has no problem breaking the rules if she thinks she's doing so on the side of fairness or justice, and in doing this she ignores orders, she makes snaps decisions easily, Me-Ko's need for growth is a need to grow roots, to ground herself, to achieve discipline, to be able to focus. Now, Mitch's tactics seem pretty questionable in helping her do this. He's a real spare the rod and spoil the child type of teacher, and he has no intentions of spoiling Me-Ko. So, Mitch is very strict and restrictive on Me-Ko. However, 5 is a different kettle of fish wakas. 5 is hesitant, and from the beginning, Mitch has been trying to build 5's confidence and decisiveness. His methods are still just as questionable as they are in his interactions with Me-Ko, but Mitch is trying. When 5 finally steps out of bounds and risks breaking the rules, Mitch challenges him on it quietly, almost gently, and when 5 robustly stands up to Mitch with logic and reason, Mitch rewards that behavior with approval. Now, it is perfectly in character for Mitch to not turn in 5 over this incident. Mitch might be many things, but he has never been a snitch. As the audience, we see him time and again passing up perfectly legitimate chances to rat out 5 and Me-Ko for gross violations of Hinobi rules and regulations, but Mitch never does. It seems that 5 hasn't noticed this behavior pattern, however, because he asks Mitch why Mitch doesn't turn him in for his rule breaking. Mitch's response is very in character. Mitch claims no virtuous reasons for protecting 5. In fact, Mitch implies, but does not state, that he is doing it for fun. However, for the rest of the episode, Mitch consistently has 5's back, very literally. Mitch quietly takes the blame for 5's crime. Mitch even takes advantage of the trust that has been growing in the team to offer small physical gestures of touch to encourage 5. It really appears that Mitch is attempting to nurture a bud of growth that would otherwise wither. Of course, 5 is an extremely conscientious glitch tech. Any growth that could be gained by following the rules he's already got to on his own. This is breaking the rules, and Mitch is literally bending over backwards to nurture this act of defiance. Now, when 5 breaks away from Mitch's lead and confesses, Mitch seems just as pleased, but this was just as much nurturing a sense of defiance. In this case, 5 was defying Mitch's benevolent assistance instead of Phil's irrational orders. It really seems that the point of Mitch's focus was getting 5 to think on his own and act in defiance of the written and unwritten rules of Hinobi. This goes back to a building theory I have about Mitch Williams, that he is keeping something from Hinobi, somehow acting in defiance of Hinobi. Now, in episode 9, we do find out a very large secret of Mitch's, but it is not nearly enough to explain everything we see in his behavior. The pattern that I see here is Mitch admitting that he needs help with something, loudly declaring that he can't trust his teammates, leaving the yet that he stated to Ridley implied with 5, and slowly building up 5 and his own relationship with 5 into something that can be trusted. I find it very interesting that what Mitch is cultivating in this episode is a defiance of orders in 5, a defiance of irrational regulations. And then there is the hair. Such a major physical change seems to come out of nowhere, and that is odd in an animated show where changing even a minor element of character design is no small thing. Yet, there were hints. 2 episodes ago, we were told that Mitch wears hair extensions, and so that his appearance of his hair, that big updo, is fake. 1 episode ago, Mitch shows the character growth of calmly giving a public apology to Me-Ko, and in this episode, he has removed his hair extensions. It's not something was violently removed from him by force, it's that he willingly let go of something that was a false presentation of himself. Like, Mitch is becoming more honest. And given how large a part of his image his hairstyle was, this is a major change for Mitch. The sketches in his van still have the updo, and so we can see that this was a big part of him that still lingers, and the nature of the change is telling. This is Mitch presenting his physical appearance in a more honest state, even as he's opening up to 5's and Me-Ko. Mitch is changing, growing, even as 5 is, and this episode displays it naturally and logically. On a side note, why did they have to make the slime so sympathetic? That look on their faces as they struggled the last few feet towards each other was heartbreaking. And then the text broke them up and again. Must you make us sympathize so hard with one-off characters doomed to terrible fates? So what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Is Mitch's new do the physical manifestation of his inner growth? Leave a like below if you agree, and leave a comment blasting my comments like a poor innocent slime if you disagree. Hit the subscribe button and check out the Amazon link to break your heart on dying embers. Peace out, my wonderful viewers.